if we had proper carbon pricing or carbon taxes in place, gas would displace coal and would grow with renewables. But because our carbon pricing is seriously defective, what we see is actually gas being displaced by coal and renewables. Shale gas is much deeper than conventional gas and is located in what geologists call source rock. And the properties of these rocks mean you have to employ specific drilling technologies to get this gas out. Once the product is out, it's exactly the same as conventional natural gas. For now, the industry in Europe is a nascent industry. It's small, but the potential reserves, the resources in place is apparently very large, very big. There are companies originally mostly from the US, from North America, the US and Canada, exploring for shale gas in Europe. Now it's the whole industry that is investing in prospective areas of Europe. The most significant discovery so far has been in the UK, in Lancashire. This is, again, the resource in place is very large. We know that already. The fraction of that will be commercially recoverable, we don't know yet, because what they've not yet done is to drill wells to assess the flow rate, and it's the flow rate that really determines whether the play, as they say, is economical or not. The largest reserves in Europe apparently are in Poland, though exploratory drilling there, and there's quite a few of it going on, has been disappointing so far. The second largest reserves are in France, where the government has put in place a ban on the specific technology used to extract shale gas called hydraulic fracturing. So it doesn't look good for the industry in France, and the results so far are rather disappointing in Poland. They've been much more successful in the UK, but the reserves are smaller. There's the geology and there's the regulation. The geology, in any case, is nowhere as good in Europe as it is in North America. That said, there are large prospective structures, geological structures across Europe. So there could be potentially some significant shale gas production in Europe. What a lot of people miss is one of the key enablers in North American shale gas production boom, which is a very efficient gas transportation market, a gas pipeline market in North America, especially in the US, which we don't have in Europe. And the specific rules that are in place in Europe and that are being rolled out across the EU actually make it very difficult to build pan-European pipelines on a commercial basis. So, for example, if you had a large shale gas or a series of large shale gas discoveries in Poland, this gas would mostly be stranded in Poland because the market institutions to build infrastructure to ship it to markets further west simply doesn't exist. If exploration proved very successful in Europe, we would quickly realize we have quite a significant regulatory problem in terms of building the transport infrastructure we need to serve the European market. People who are drilling in Poland are not drilling for the Polish market, which is small anyway. They're drilling for the European market. But that as far as gas transportation is concerned, gas pipelines are concerned, doesn't exist. People who maybe drilling in Spain or in Sweden, or they would be drilling for the European market. So that's a big difference with North America. Europe has bet a lot on the massive deployment of renewable energy, especially wind and solar. And it creates a difficult market situation for natural gas, because gas is essentially squeezed between coal and renewables. So if we had proper carbon pricing or carbon taxes in place, gas would displace coal and would grow with renewables. But because our carbon pricing is seriously defective, what we see is actually gas being displaced by coal and renewables and in power generation. And that, of course, doesn't create market conditions that are very supportive for shale gas exploration and production. European and UK energy policies should concentrate on the real problem, which is carbon emissions. And to address that, you need credible long-term carbon pricing or taxes. If you had that in place, what would happen now is you would have natural gas displacing coal, saving a lot of carbon emissions in the short and medium term. And in the longer term, you would have a competition between zero carbon technologies, renewables, nuclear, fossil fuels with carbon capture and sequestration. But the outcome of this competition, we don't know. It's precisely for the market to reveal, to discover. By choosing to push very strongly renewables up front, as we're doing now, deploying them large scale, we incur huge costs, and we miss on the relatively cheap carbon emission reduction that we would get by natural gas displacing coal.